And obviously the game plan for Joshua was to not be put in that situation. And obviously he fought a very safe fight to not be put in that situation. But all I'm saying is a fighter who showed up a little bit more prepared today would have been able to take advantage of Joshua's overcommitment to the movement and maybe put him in some more difficulty in some spots and touch him more in some spots. And maybe we'll see just how much confidence there was in Joshua to resist another assault in those spots.
Is there a way he beats a Wilder or Fury? I don't even think he can beat Ortiz.
Right now, I think that's more the conversation. Wilder and Fury are in kind of in a league of their own right now in the heavyweight division. I think they're kind of head and shoulders now. I think it's starting to become more of a separation, I would say, between Wilder and Fury and then the rest of the pack. And it's kind of scary because what happens when these guys fight each other? Do they just have to keep fighting each other because nobody compares? I don't know, But right now I would say Wilder and Fury both are a step ahead of Joshua at least. But I think more so the comparison again is Ortiz and Joshua. It's a fight you'll never see because they're on two different sides of the street. But the Ortiz and Joshua comparison is probably more of a realistic comparison.
Do you think we'll see a unification fight in 2020?
No, I don't.
Paulie, was this more, you might have answered this already, but was this more AJ winning or Ruiz letting himself down?
You have to give credit to AJ. The game plan was smart. It was a little bit of confidence missing in the way he executed it. The game plan was the right game plan. But the confidence missing is almost forgivable because he was knocked out 6 months ago by this guy. So he was slanting more towards safety first, then slanting more towards winning and trying to execute it in a manner where he looks good. I think it was just more of a win here and look good next time, and it's almost forgivable because hey, you got to give him credit for going right after the rematch right away. And also, you got to keep in mind for everybody that's criticizing this guy right now. How many of you picked him to lose a rematch? You're out there. A lot of people picked him to lose a rematch, so you can't now say that. Oh, he won, but I didn't think he did this good. I didn't think he did this. No, he won. He already proved you wrong just by winning. Just by winning, you didn't think you could win. But me, I picked him to win the fight. So I feel like I have more right to say, okay, he won the fight, but I would have liked to see a little bit more confidence in the way he moved. I thought his movement was the right plan, but I would have liked to see it in a bit more confident manner, been able to shoot some more offensive, be able to be more dangerous offensively, because let's face it, Joshua has the kind of power to be dangerous offensively, but he was so much on the back foot a lot of times. He was so much committed to getting out more so than doing damage that it never deterred Ruiz's aggression. It may have flustered him, the movement, but it didn't deter him. And part of the reason it was flustered wasn't just because of the movement, it was also because he came in like a fat tub of shit, and he ruined his chances of closing the gap the right way. You know what I mean? Because a better fighter, or a more prepared fighter, let's see, because I can't say Ruiz is not a good fighter. A more prepared fighter may have been able to take advantage of the overcommitment to the movement that Joshua had. But Ruiz wasn't able to, and so that's the result he gets.
Were you impressed that AJ was able to maintain his stamina for 12 rounds?
Hey man, I think once you saw him come in that light, I think you kind of got the hint that this guy's here for the long haul. This guy didn't show up to blow through him, and this guy didn't show up angry that he got knocked out the first time, and looking to blow through this guy because he knocked him out the first time. This guy showed up with an intent to go into the rounds and maybe even go late in the fight. I mean, once I saw his the way he was leaned out like that, I thought, okay, this guy sees the fight in his mind going to some rounds, and obviously that's the way it went.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're going to have to be very careful in moving AJ from here. Like, is there a fight that you would want to see, or would you want to move him a certain way?
I don't know. It's interesting because I think he needs more confidence building for sure. He didn't look like the confident guy that I've seen. I think AJ's greatest night was the Klitschko night, where even if he was down, it didn't matter. You know what I mean? Like that was a tiger on the hunt. You know what I mean? He was a champion. He was still in that hunt mode, where he was looking to take everybody out. I saw a guy today who, and again, I can't say it's criticism because I picked him to win the fight, but I saw a guy today who figured, let me just get the W. I'm making $85 million. Let me get the W so that these kind of paydays are guaranteed to keep coming in. Because if I just have the belts, it doesn't matter how I look. I just have to have these belts. And so it started. Once you start thinking about that, the doubt is in your mind already because you're thinking you're not thinking of consuming your opponent. You're thinking about, okay, let me just make sure I get out of this in one piece, you know. And so we need to see the Joshua that wanted to consume his opponents again. We need to see the Joshua that wanted to get in there, looked across the ring, and knew he was going to consume you and just take you out of there. You know, like that's the Joshua we want to see. For some fighters, that guy never comes back. You know, for sometimes it does. We'll see. My guess is just as good as anybody else's whether that guy's going to come back again or not. You know, but in the meantime, he's a heavyweight champion. He proved a lot of people wrong, in that a lot of people picked him to lose this fight, and we'll see where it goes from here.
He proved me wrong. I'll admit that. One last question to you about this is: are you interested in a part 3 like they were talking about?
You know, I don't know, man. You know, like based off this fight, maybe it's not a lot of interest in part 3. But you know what? Ruiz got one. Joshua got one. You know, now it's Ruiz's turn to make the adjustments. You know, did Joshua really deserve a rematch the way he got hammered in the first fight? You know, but he got it, right? I mean, it was on the contract and he got it. So you know, now Ruiz looked like he didn't really deserve a rematch after this fight. But you know what? Maybe he'll show up in the third fight and come a little bit more prepared. Listen, we know Ruiz can do it if he's prepared. You know, like we've seen what he can do. We've seen the quality that he is. He just has to stay away from the fridge, bro. You know what I mean? Like do you want to be great or do you want to be you know, do you want to just eat? You know what I mean? Like it's up to you. You know, like, so we'll see. But I don't have the biggest problem making a third fight. I don't.
He wants to get in there. Joshua said,
everyone remembers the knockout, but they don't remember the round.
Yeah. There was. I mean, Wilder. There's something to criticize with Wilder, but Wilder was always in a bit more control. You know what I mean? Like, if Wilder had fought like Joshua and overcommitted too much to movement, the way what Joshua did today, I think he would have got knocked out by Ortiz. You know, Wilder may have been losing the rounds, but you can see there was a confident demeanor in Wilder's body language, even throughout the round. Like he almost. I'm not going to tell you he knew he was going to get his man, but it's almost looking at him. I remember watching the fight and thinking, he's not flustered at all. Like, he's not winning these rounds, but he's so calm right now, like a real vet, you know. So it's almost like it left you curious, like what is going to happen? Is he going to make the adjustment? Does he plan on making an adjustment? He didn't have to make an adjustment. He knocked him the fuck out, you know. So, you know, for me, the body language was really telling in that, you know, and that's where I still feel like, you know, Joshua, he may have been winning the rounds, but the body language told me there was a little bit of a panic still, you know, like it was a nervous, like, okay, I got to get through these rounds. I just got to get through these 3 minutes. Okay, let me just get through the next 3 minutes. Okay, now let me get through the next 3 minutes, you know. You don't have the guy that, like I said earlier, wanted to just consume his opponents and just, you know, take them out in a blaze of glory and a blaze of fire, you know. Like now you had this guy who just wanted to get through the 12 rounds and just get his titles back so he, you know, so he could keep a certain status and so he get a certain paycheck, and you need to have that fire in you. You need to fight to win instead of fighting to not lose. Otherwise, eventually it's only a matter of time before you get taken out. But we'll see. He's only 6 months out from being knocked out, so maybe this was just a confidence builder. We'll see. I mean, Usyk's dangerous. Usyk's dangerous now that, you know, he's the mandatory. Yeah, look at that.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask.
Ordered within 180 days. There it is. You know, Usyk's very dangerous right now. The Joshua you saw today, you know, there's a lot of interesting things like saw crossing your mind when you start thinking about a matchup with him and Usyk. You know, like Usyk. But then again, there's a lot to wonder about Usyk too. Because that heavyweight, he hasn't fought a live guy yet. Chaz Witherspoon kind of just hung around for a few rounds, but he didn't offer a lot of resistance. So, you know, that's a fight that brings out a lot of curiosity, and probably people will want to watch it, you know. But sure, I mean, I think it's a dangerous opponent.
Did you get a chance to see Dillian White's fight today?
I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't get a chance to see it. I was preparing for these fights tonight. But Dillian, you know, Dillian's one of the dangerous guys that people keep refusing to talk about. You know, like I worked his last fight with Oscar Rivas, and I thought he looked great. You know, and I don't know how did he look today. How did he look?
I mean, he came in a career high, 271. My honest opinion, he was in a tough fight.
Okay.
Kind of fatigued towards the end, like most fights, but you know, he won.
That's the thing with heavyweights. You know, you come in whatever weight you want, and you're still gonna fight. You know, you don't have to worry about losing a title on the scale. You lose a title in the ring no matter what. So, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But there's a lot of fun heavyweights out there.